Hello, welcome. My name is Tracy. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator here in Australia. Thanks so much for joining me today. Today's project is a sympathy card, and I've done it in Grapefruit Grove, which I think is a really pretty colour for this card. I've used the Dandelion Wishes stamp set, which is in the annual catalogue, as well as the Make a Difference stamp set, which is a great alphabet stamp set. There is 143 stamps in this set, and there's a couple of different font styles, as well as a few little words down the bottom that you can stamp on the back of your cards as well. So in the description of this video you can see a link to my blog where all the measurements and supplies are listed there. There is also a link to my online store where you can purchase all your Stampin' Up supplies. If you use the hostess code for the month, I will send you out a free thank you gift. So let's get started. We're going to start with some embossing first off. So we're going to emboss the dandelion and the sentiment. So I'm going to bring in, because these are in, some of these stamps are photopolymer, so I'm going to bring in my foam mat. And I'm also going to hit this with the embossing buddy just to get rid of any static that there might be. So bringing in the Versamark powder, I'm going to first stamp the dandelion. I always get powder on that finger. So stamping that on the top left corner, straight down, straight up, and I'm going to bring in the powder and heat that first off before I do the sentiment. So using the white, Stampin' Up white embossing powder, making sure I have good coverage, tapping off the back, bringing in the heat tool. One thing I just wanted to say too is I actually used the Sunshine Sayings stamp set as well because I wanted the sending to be a different font to this one here. So I brought this stamp set out. You don't have to use it. You can just use the Make a Difference stamp set to say sending. So now I'm going to heat that. I'm going to also just put a bit more powder down because I've put my fingers all over that. And I have my word, you can see that, S-Y-M-P-A-T. And then I'm going to have my H on a different block, and then I'm going to take the Y off to do the end of sympathy. So I'm going to start with the sending. And then bringing in the start of sympathy. Actually, I might heat that, put the powder on and heat that before I put the H and the Y on, just to make sure I'm in the right spot. Just grab the edge of the stamp on sending. Heat this up. So that's good. Just get the end of that. I find if I don't do it, I'll have powder everywhere. So bringing in the H. And then taking the Y off. I'll stamp that one down as well. that's that all done. I don't know whether you can see that too well. Okay, so that's all done. I'm going to bring in my mat again to do the watercolouring part. And I have just my big block. That's an F block, but you can use a smaller one. I'm going to take my ink pad, open it up, and I'm just going to place some ink down on it, just like that. I'm using a spritzer. Just going to place a bit of water down on that. Taking my piece of, this is shimmery white cardstock. I'm not sure if I said that before. We're going to place that down. Lifting up. Then I'm just going to move it all around to get colouring everywhere. So you're just picking up the colouring onto the card. And it'll be uneven, which is really great because that's the look that we want. If I want it even, I'd use my aqua painter and move it all around that way. There we go. And you can leave that just to dry, or you can bring the heat tool back in and heat that up. So I'll bring the heat tool back in. So the good thing about this too with the heat tool is it puts it back into place a fair bit. So just grabbing a tissue, I'm just going to rub it over to take off that ink around the embossing, because it resists around the embossing. See that? Beautiful. So now we're going to just attach, just fold and score this, sorry, burnish the card base. I'm having trouble talking today. And I have a piece of Whisper White that I'm just going to mat straight down. I'm going to use tear and tape to keep that down. Just pulling the backing piece off the tear and tape, and I'm going to mat that straight down on the piece of Whisper White cardstock. There we go. I'm also using the Grapefruit Grove Gross Grain ribbon. It's 1/8 inch width. And I'm going to place a bit on the back using some tear and tape. So I'll get 2 bits of tear and tape. Placing one down all the way to the back. And then I just grab another little bit of ribbon and tying a knot. Right. Bring my ribbon scissors in, and I'm just going to neaten those edges, just like that. So with the card base, I've actually stamped around the edges here with this stamp here, just to give it a little bit of extra detail. So I'm going to bring that in with the Grapefruit Grove ink. And let's just stamp all the way around. So just quickly like that. And we're just going to pop this one up with some dimensionals. So I'll bring them in, one on each side. So these are the two cards. This is the one we've made just now. This one you can see is a little bit darker. I've probably put a little bit too much ink down on my acrylic block. You could put just one lot of ink down and it'd be a little bit lighter, or just add a little bit more water to it and you'd get that sort of effect. I really like them. I think it's a really nice card. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. I would also love it if you left me a comment. Don't forget to hit subscribe so you don't miss my next video, and don't forget to head over to my blog and get all the measurements and supplies that you'll need. Thanks so much. Okay, have a great day. Bye.